So my next feature are banners, and they would work kind of like they do in Total War Warhammer, and kind of like signals in World of Warships or doctrines in Conqueror's Blade. If you guys are familiar with any of those games, so essentially it's a small buff that you put on top of a unit. It's kind of also like a consumable, but consumables are always replenished with silver, while banners, could be earned with by a different way. Like in World of Warships, for example, you get banners, signals for getting achievements in battles, but you can also get them with silver if you're not good enough to get those achievements. So that's also fair, because if they're giving you certain buffs, they should be available for everyone, even if you're not good enough to get those achievements consistently. You shouldn't be denied from access to those buffs. So that definitely has to be taken into account when designing that feature. And yeah, they would also show up in the game itself, similar to how it works in Rome 1 Total War, for example, where units would just carry small banners, and back in the day they would represent the upgrades to not just their experience or the upgrades to weaponry and armor. I believe that's how it worked. So in a similar fashion, just that these would be visible in game, just like signals are visible on top of the ship. So guys, thoughts about that feature?
I think it would be a great feature, and it would really help the customizability of your units, give it another layer. And additionally, it is historical. It was kind of an honor to be a standard bearer in many armies. And you could have it as a reward for certain things, like to link back to the campaigns, you could get a banner for completing a campaign. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, more like
Oh,
a bunch of banners, because it's not like you get one banner and then you can use it unlimited number of times. It's also more like, would imagine more like World of Warship style, where you have, well, I don't know what ideas for banners, but whatever, Alexander banner, right? Or like, Memora from a campaign, or I don't know, Legio 13 banner, whatever. And then you put it on top of a unit, right? And you have 10 of those. So that's enough for 10 battles. And then you can run out of those and you need to buy more with silver, or just get the achievement that unlocks it. George, you wanted to say something?
yeah. I mean, it's interesting how they would implement it exactly. The banner system. Obviously, the nature of the game. There's lots of different ways that you could add something like that. For example, you could have it where it's hovers over the ability, like next to hovers over the unit. Sorry, next to where like the name of the unit is, or you could have it that someone in the unit is actually like holding the banner. Although that would sort of create like uh, a dead model, because obviously he wouldn't be able to fight really. So that would be something. Obviously, the game development team would have to come up with a solution for, of how they want to implement it specifically.
I mean, definitely nothing like gameplay intrusive that would, the guy actually carries the banner so he cannot fight anymore. That would be kind of stupid. So yeah, just have it pure cosmetically displayed. So when you zoom in, you can actually see those. And it could introduce a little bit of an issue where you don't really see those banners when you're fully zoomed out. It's like, oh, I don't know, does this unit have, plus 5% buff to their melee weapon damage? Or do they have the plus 5 armor? Do they have both? I don't know, because I can see it. But then again, you don't see what kind of equipment they pick up on. And the only way you can tell is click on the unit and see, the stats summary, which those banners would be included in as well. So I think it would be good enough. And it
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
mean,
that much of an issue.
if you think of the world of warships, right? Like, I don't exactly go into the sniper mode and scroll in like 25 times to see what flags my opponent is running. Generally, so you wouldn't necessarily have to make it obvious. Only if you really wanted to sort of know that kind of thing, then you could make it possible. But again, like you said, the equipment is impossible to view, and also the consumables that the person has added to their units is impossible to see as well, apart from if you know the nuances of the
No,
unit
if you
statistics.
click on the unit, there's a unit info panel,
Yeah,
and
it
you
shows
actually can
above.
see that.
You can see like
yeah,
the
that's
drill
what I wanted to
sergeant
point out.
results?
Yes, so in World of Warships, there's just no way to see what kind of commander perks the enemy has, what kind of signals, unless you zoom really closely, and what kind of upgrades on the ship there are. It's impossible in World of Warships. So, for example, you start a fire on a guy, right, and then you don't know whether this fire will end in 30 seconds or in 60 seconds, depending on what kind of abilities the guy has. But in Total War Arena, it's much better because you can actually do that.
Yeah,
You
you just
have the
click on that
information
enemy unit.
available. Obviously,
I've
it's
never
a
seen
lot
that.
of information. So, if you were to make that information available at a glance for everyone, you just wouldn't be able to see anything anymore because there's just a shit ton of information, right? You cannot display it all. And Total War Arena has actually found, a pretty perfect way of doing it with the stat summary that you can then, expand and see each individual stat. So it's another pretty neat solution that Total War Arena has that other games don't have. But okay, I think that's enough about the banners, unless you guys want to add anything, and we can move to another one.
No, I think we've covered that one pretty nicely.
Stolfo?
Fleshed it out. It's
Okay.
good.
So, my next feature are flags, which, sounds similar to banners, but there's a different, important distinction to make, that banners are the little buffs you put on top of the unit, while flags are purely cosmetic. So, yeah, just basically what I want to say with this feature is go wild with cosmetics. Do flags, do commander skins that are more daring, instead of just kind of a different clothes, just change hairstyles, change hair colors. I mean, we have dark hair Kanana, but that's about it. But give me loose hair Kanana. Go crazy with clothes, faces, set hairstyles, boob sizes. That will sell. Yeah, just go crazy with skins and add flags as another cosmetic type. Guys?
I mean, I think flags has great potential because obviously a lot of these commanders, especially for example, Greece and the barbarians, they're sort of bundled into that umbrella term of Greek or barbarian. Whereas you could see a lot of flags of the specific barbarian factions, for example, like Suebi or Iceni or whatever, depending on the commanders that are added to the game. And with Greek, obviously, you could have some kind of like Macedonian flag or Epirus or Sparta, that sort of thing. And I think that would be really good, and also something that I believe people coming from games like Rome 2 would be especially interested in.
Yeah, actually, you reminded me of something I forgot to mention, how they would look, right, in the game. So what I imagine it as would be either something that you have in Three Kingdoms, where, units just carry a lot of those flags or banners or whatever you want to call them. But, in terms of our nomenclature here, let's call them flags. So a unit just carries a bunch of flags, and, those flags could be in terms of, Greek factions. They could be, Sparta, Athens, etc. In terms of Roman faction, the Julii, Brutii, and Scipii factions from old school Rome 1. Those would definitely be loved by fans. And yeah, speaking of Rome, if they were to look differently, they could look like the banners that were attached to units in Rome 1, Medieval 2, and in the prior titles. But we essentially had one banner representing the unit. Right now, you just have a nameless floating circle with the unit type displayed on it, with bars representing morale, health, and ammunition. Right. Previously, it was a nice banner that started flashing white when the unit was retreating. You actually, felt more personal than it is right now. Obviously, I see the advantages of the now system, but yeah, having them look like the old school banners from Rome 1, definitely a big plus for old school fans of the War franchise. Astolfo, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. One thing as with all cosmetics, which I'm sure I will touch on later or others will, I think there should be a historical mode button. But outside of that, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, to be honest,
If you really wanted to play your Roman legion as a specific legion, that would be so cool to get a flag or a banner of that legion, right? Like that. Those small things are the things that sell me on games.
Yeah, like an eagle banner for a specific cohort or something. That would be quite interesting. I mean, I've just thought of these just now. There's so many ideas that come. I'm sure have come into all of our heads. You going back to the Rome one, and I'm just thinking about these legion stuff. And the potential is clearly there. If we're just coming up in a few minutes, we're coming up with all of these ideas that you could add for these sort of cosmetics.
Yeah, obviously, well, you touch on the historical mode, right? And we were only proposing the historical stuff, so, like legions for Romans, Athens, Sparta for Greeks, etc. But yeah, we can go wild with it, surely. So we can have national flags, right? I can carry a Polish flag or French flag on top of my units, and I don't care if they're Romans, barbarians, or whatever. I want a French flag on top of my unit, and I'll have it, right? But then you can go even crazier with those flags. Like, for example, World of Warships did, where they have, collaborations with different titles like Azure Lane, and they have an Azure Lane flag. So, yeah, Total War Arena can go for the same kind of opportunity. Do a Fate collaboration. Right, Astolfo? With me?
I'm in full
we all
support.
knew it was coming.
I thought you were going to talk a bit more on it.
I mean, you're the Fate Arena guy, right? You even made a banner for it.
Oh, I know, dude. All my stream stuff was all Fate related.